Hello again, this is Dr. Nima, and this is part 3 of our Canvas tutorial. And this video is about creating quizzes that are graded by themselves. So we're back on our course here, and as you know now that we always land on home, which is the module part of your quiz, of your course, you have to go to assignments, just like the same way that you're doing assignments, you'll do the quiz. You can go to quizzes to create quizzes as well, but I think this will be a faster way to do it, at least for now. And now let's go to maybe labs and add the quiz here. So just like adding an assignment, just clicking this. But now this is the important part, the type. You have to change the type from an assignment, which is not graded by itself. Assignments are the things that usually the students submit, and then you have to look at it, and then you can grade it with Speed Grader. While quizzes are the ones that are you put the questions and you put the answers in the system, and Canvas will grade it for you, just like a multiple choice question or true and false. Okay, so now let's choose quiz, name it test 2, maybe due date, same thing. You can leave the points empty because it will be updated as you put the questions in there. Now, instead of just saving or save and publish, we have to go to more options to start adding questions. When you go to more options on a quiz, you'll see that there are a lot of things that are different. For the most important thing is that you have here questions where when you have it on assignment, there's no tab for questions. So just the name, you can also add a description, and you can see here we have a lot of options. You can shuffle, you can do the time, you can add multiple attempts, but these will go back to them after we start adding questions to our quiz. So let's go to questions. So we just did go to assignment, make a new assignment, and instead of an assignment, we made it as a quiz. Go to questions. On questions, you can see that you have three options. We're going to them from here, from the right to the left. So find questions is when you have uploaded a question bank. And we'll go to this in the next video to talk a little bit more about question banks and how to upload them. But generally, when you click on it, you have your question banks in here. You can select all the questions and you can add them to specific groups if you have done groups. And you can manage the question banks, but we'll talk about this later. Okay. The second option is to do a question group. Question group is to control a little bit more if you want to make group of question and make Canvas choose randomly from them for each student. So if you make a question group and you add 10 questions, you can put an option where Canvas will choose 5 questions of these 10, and it'll be different for each student. We'll go to that in a minute and just add a new question. This is just the simplest way to do it without having to choose more questions from a group. So let's do this at the beginning. Just a new question. As you can see, this is the question name. You can do question 1. What is the type of the question? Most probably we'll start with, we'll do multiple choice. And this is where you put your question. So I'll just put 1 plus 1 equals. And then if you go down, there are your answers. You can add more answers, but you see the correct answer is the one that has the green arrow next to it. And you can choose any one of these to be the correct answer. And you can for sure remove these. Instead of having 4 possible answers, you can have 3 or 2 or 5. It's up to you. So let's do 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are the possible answers, and 2 is the correct answer, and that's what I clicked on here. I have to make sure that I update the question every time I do anything in here. And if you notice that we have these small boxes in here, and these are just to detail why this is the right answer or why is this not the right answer. So if you click on here, you can add detail for your students why this is the right and why is this the wrong, or a general thing. And update question. So now if you go here, you can see that question 1 is done. By the way, since we're here, as you can see, I have options here to add files. It's down here. It's just because my window is not large enough. So if I just enlarge my window, you can see these things come in here. So if you don't see these things, then most probably either you're working on a small monitor or you're not maximizing your Explorer or Chrome window. See, they go back and they go in. So anyway, let's just bring them back here. And let's go to question group. Let's make a question group. So far, we just did new question. Now, question group. So let's do it as group one. As you can see, now we have an option. How many questions we want to pick and how many points per question. So let's say we pick one question and we just have 1 point per question. As you can see, you can link it to a question bank, but we don't have question bank so far. We'll go ahead and create the group. And once we create the group, now we have to start adding questions inside of the group. So now we have to start using this add button instead of this, because this adds just a question for you. As usual, you can delete a question or edit it or anything. Now I'm on the group, I can add a question. It's just the same process. So this time let's add a true and false question. So 1 plus 1 equals 2. And then is it true or false? So you can again choose it. So it's true, update question. And now let's do another question inside of the group. So the group can pick one out of whatever questions that we put in here. So this time let's put it as fill in the blank. 1 plus 1 equals, and now the student will have a box. And most of these questions, or all of them, when you choose something, you will have an explanation about it, how to use it. So it's really straightforward. So usually with the fill in the blanks, you have more than possible answer, because usually maybe the student, if they write 1 plus 1, they write maybe 2, or they might write 2. So if you want to add more of these, you can add more as much as you want, or you can just, after the students submit their answers, you can go back to the speed grader and make sure, even if they misspelled something, you can give them the point for it. So let's update the question. And now we have 2 questions in our group. Let's add another one. And this time let's just do a little bit more complicated. It's fill in multiple blanks. And you can see here is an example for it. And this time you have to use brackets for multiple blanks. So this is one blank, and you can see now color 1. Once you use the brackets with it, you'll start seeing it here. So you can choose for color 1 what are the right answers, and you can add more. And then for color 2 as well, you can choose different answers, and then you have to update the question as well. And now as you can see, you have different multiple questions, and this group would only pick one question out of these. So if you see, the total points are now just 2, because you have one question here and one question here. Okay, now we're done. We're good to go. We can just save and publish, but let's just save it for now so we can do more options. So just save it, and now it's saved. I go back to the details. Well, it reloaded. You just edit. And now I go back to the details so I can just do a little bit more things. Here on the details, I just went from questions. These are my questions to details. On the detail side, you can do more explanation about what is the quiz about. The type of the quiz, is it practice quiz or is it graded quiz? You have to notice, if you put it as practice quiz, the student will see it, but you will not see it on your grade book, because there is no grade for a practice quiz. So that's an important thing. So it's a graded quiz. Do you want to shuffle the answers, which means the multiple choice answers will be shuffled differently for different students? Do you want to put a time limit? Let's put 1 minute. Do you want to make multiple attempts, and which one that you want to keep? Is it unlimited, or you want to put specific amount of attempts? All these options you can use. It's just a lot of details in there. And you can actually also, this is an option that the instructors like, that you can actually prevent the students from seeing the responses until maybe the next day if you want to see. Like you can choose a specific day and time where they can see it, and you can hide it at a specific day and time. So there's all of these options in there. And for sure, you can make it as one question at a time. You can lock the questions after answering all these options. You can require an access code, which is a password. Let's do it as number 1. and you can assign it to different students. And now we're done with this. We can save and publish now to make it published. Now you can see these are all the details that you see on your quiz. We have the time, the points, the attempts, when it's available, and all of that. And there's a good thing about it is that you can actually preview your quiz so you can see how the students see it. And if you click on that preview, you'll see you have just 2 questions, and see this is the question that was chosen from the group. You can just answer that and submit. And this is just a view of your quiz. And now you can see you have correct answers. So now let's go ahead and actually see it of how would the student see it, so we can actually go back to the grades and see it. Before we go there, we have to add this quiz to our module. So I'm going back to home, and week 2, I'll add it here. Now it's not an assignment, it's in quizzes, so I'll choose it. So I can add it to my module so the student can see it right away. If I want to lock the module, you can lock it until a specific time so the student cannot work with it. Let me just show you. If I lock this one until a specific time so we can see what the student will see. And update module and continue, because we have to, but anyway. We go to settings if you want to see the student view. And on settings, the student view usually appear here, but again, as I told you, if you just extend this, you can see it, or if it's not extended, you'll see it all the way at the bottom. So go ahead to student view, and on student view, here is our test. And when the student click on here, and I want to show you that part of the lock will unlock. See, this is it's locked for them. And go to the quiz now. Once we go to the quiz, they can see how many questions, points, attempts. Take the quiz, the access code. And now you can see the question is different this time because it was chosen by the group. So I'll take 2 and I'll put, let's say the student got it wrong, and submit it. And now the student can see their answers, and they still have 1 attempt left. So they can retake the quiz. Again, this is if you allow that. And put the code in here. And choose their answers. And submit. And this is how will the students see it. If you want to leave the student view, you have to click on here. For sure they can see their grades because it's graded by itself. And leave the student view. Let's go back to our instructor view now. So in the instructor view, you can see that the student have submitted their assignment. If you want to do more, let's say the student did something wrong and you want to allow another attempt for them, you click on the actual thing, the name of the assignment, and you have to moderate it. So the moderate, you can find it underneath here, or if you have a bigger window, moderate this quiz, and you can edit for a specific student and add another attempt for them. And here we go. And if you want to use the speed grader, you can do that as well, and you can see how the student answer, and you can change the grade here for specific questions, or you can add or subtract general grade from the student, and you have to update the score. And that will be it generally for a quick view of the quizzes, how to do them, how to make them, and what will the students see. In the next video, we'll know how to import question bank and how to add it and how to use it on Canvas.